if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this. And other whistleblowers are now confirmed to be coming forward to Congress next week. Civilian whistleblowers who are going to be testifying of the things that they've been a part of and seen. So, talk about the people that you started, the witnesses who were in the room with this creature, and how you started to verify the veracity of this film.
Sure, it was during COVID, and for the first time of my life, and I don't say this proudly because I'm a type A workaholic, I had time off that wasn't due to vacation or injury back in my wrestling days. And it just I'm not saying I was visited, I heard voices, but it's just something my conscience said, you got some time now. Go figure out that film. Figure something out. And I want everyone to know, Clayton, I did not come at this film it was a hoax. Was it real? I just wanted to find the truth. And that is my credibility that I didn't push any theory into my own line of thinking. I simply wanted to know the truth. I had information, the film, but I did not have knowledge, which comes from being actually involved in this or even involved in the military or these programs. But I knew that if I went on like a podcast or something, I could start to metastasize my investigation and put it out into the wind, give it the Oprah effect. Maybe somebody would contact me, which has happened to UFO researchers before, that they could give me some insight on this. And right before Memorial Day of 2020 one, I went on a Jeff Rent's program, and sure enough, 3 weeks later in June, I started to get an email, or I got an email, received an email from a gentleman. He said, "I caught your interview. You got some things right, you got something wrong." Month later goes by, I get the same email and so on and so forth. And he was emailing me on the same day of the first of that day of the month. And I know from my dad being on the board of directors of a credit union that that's probably somebody who's involved in a board of directors. And, and I'm not giving my main whistleblower, identity away. I'm just telling you how prominent this man was. And 9 months it took from him vetting me and, emailing me once a month and whatnot on my birthday, coincidentally. Now I'm a public figure. You could find out my birthday, but I think it was pretty bizarre that on my birthday, he sends me and I don't want to mince my words. He sends me a report of the Defense Intelligence Agency who ran the alien interview and retention program. That's what it's unofficially called in the know. And he had someone inside the DIA send the report of the unauthorized viewing of this film, not smuggled out, not stolen. It was called the unauthorized viewing. And Clayton, my hand was shaking in my car. I was at a oasis in outside of Hammond, Indiana, believe it or not, on a trip, and my hand was shaking because I was seeing names of actual men in Wikipedia or Googling them and realizing these are real people. And like Linda Moulton Howe told me when she saw the list, you have gold here. Why? No one has ever heard of these people before. And like Linda said, and these people are on Google and are real. And I said, yeah, they are. And she said, son, you got gold here. And so I got the list of names, but I know investigative journalism, that wasn't just enough just to have the names. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So I started to vet every single person on the list. The first person was retired working for TRW, and TRW, these are the men, by the way, who were behind the glass in the viewing gallery watching this thought projection interview. That's what it's called. It's not telepathy. It's actually called thought projection. And the first one worked for TRW, and I said, "Well, this is a hoax. He wasn't even in the military." David Morton, who was in the office of the production company, who first got the call from Victor saying, "I've got this VHS tape of an alien," said, "No, no, no. TRW is like hand in hand with the government. They do every kind of secret project and whatnot." I said, "Wow." The next name was a rear admiral, um, who reported to the Joint Chiefs, was in the Oval Office. I've proven this, and I'll get back to that man. The next one was a captain in naval intelligence. I look him up on Wikipedia. He retired a vice admiral. I said, "Well, this is a hoax." And my one investigator said, "John, he was a captain of a Navy intelligence in 1991. He retired. The list is from 1991 when this thought projection interview was first made, which was April of 1991. He said, "They're giving you a list of the people of the in that room and their rank at that time." I mean, I was blown away. I'm like, "You're right." And now he was vice admiral. Clayton, I emailed this man, and we emailed each other back 3 or 4 times, and we had such a relationship. I was gonna fly to Virginia to ask him to play golf and go out to dinner. And he said, "Well, before before you come out, what is your documentary about?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm a champion of the military. I've had relatives in the military. Along with Senator Mark Kirk, stopped the closure of the North Chicago VA in northern Chicago. I am pro-military." I said, "But look, I'm going to send you a list. I'm going to send you a report that's very disconcerting. Bear with me. Your name's on it." And I sent him the report, the time and date, what type of alien this was, his name there, and he ghosted me. And Clayton, in 2022, when you ghost somebody electronically, doesn't that speak volumes? He didn't call back and say, "I was crazy, you're nuts, laugh at me. That's not me, that never happened." And I've had military people say, "Look, men and women in the military are honorable. They're not going to lie to you. They just won't talk to you anymore. So they don't lie to you." And that really had me fall off my chair, like, this guy, we were gonna go play golf, and now, I am, I'm alienated from his life. I had Dr. Sala email him too. Never laughed at Dr. Sala, didn't call Dr. Sala crazy, just said, "I'm not interested in doing any interviews about anything with my military career."
Wow.
And, the list goes the list goes on, and let me get to the 2 doctors, the 2 medics that are you will see, folks, on either side of the alien. The doctor on the alien's right, our left, died in California. I called please listen to me, folks. This is such crucial information. I call his 2nd wife, his widow. I'm gonna say her name is Kim, but it was a short name. It's kind of hard telling somebody's widow, "Was your husband involved in alien, autopsies or alien interrogation or anything to do with aliens?" Because he was a doctor. And I told her my story very quickly, and she paused. Again, another person that didn't laugh, didn't hang up the phone. She said, "John, that's really interesting." She said, For the time that I was married to him, he never ever spoke about his time in the US Army Medical Corps. I never told her US Army Medical Corps, but that was on the report of what his designation was. And which I thought she is correlating this report. She said, all of our friend groups, they're from Vietnam, World War II, Korea. They all have funny stories about boot camp, on assignment other than non-combat related information. They all have funny stories. And my husband ever, never spoke about his time in the U.S. Army Medical Corps, not even to me. And she said, "John, your phone call just completely turns the light bulb on and totally makes sense to me now why my husband never spoke about his time in the US Army."
Hmm.
So I'm like, "What is going on here?" Now I Google the other doctor's name. He's practicing medicine still in Connecticut. And at the time, he worked for the VA in '91, and we see this creature having some sort of respiratory coughing fit. Folks, pay attention to the mouth. It opens and closes instantaneously. Listen to me on this. He, um, he at the time of 1991, this creature's having a respiratory problem. This doctor worked for the VA. What did he do and specialize in 1991? He was a pulmonologist. So obviously they brought this man in to S2 Alpha. That's the official designation of the underground facility where the alien retention interrogation program happens.